Good morning. Now recently I paid 2 visits to Brookwood Cemetery in Surrey to do videos on the 3 remaining ladies in that one grave, which I've now done. And also promised you that I'll track down the other member of that group, the 4th woman from that group. That I have also now done. So this morning I am in the City of London Cemetery, and we are going to find and visit the final resting place of Edith Thompson. A few months ago I did a video on John Ellis, the executioner, and I had a few comments on the fact that they thought Edith Thompson was innocent of this crime. She should never have been hanged, and also the fact that she was actually strapped into a chair to be hanged was absolutely appalling. And it's a fascinating story, and at the end of this video I'll give you my opinion, for what it is worth, on whether I think she should have been tried and convicted of being an accessory to murder. Obviously her husband Percy was the victim. Now he is also buried in here, but unfortunately, this being such a vast cemetery, I've been unable to track down his grave. I've got pictures of it, but there are so many graves in here that look the same, and this is such a vast place. I've been in here for nearly 2 hours already, and I've only managed to track down her final resting place. So we are here to visit Edith Thompson. Yeah, as I said, Edith Thompson was convicted of being an accessory to murder. She wasn't actually convicted of murder, but she still went to the gallows, and Frederick Bywaters, the man that actually committed the murder, went to the gallows saying that she was innocent. But as I said, at the end of this video I'll give you my opinion for what it is worth. But what I shall do now is I shall spin you around. We'll have a wander around this amazing cemetery, because it really is a beautiful cemetery, while I tell you a little bit about Edith Thompson.
Edith Jessie Thompson was born Edith Jessie Grayson at 97 Norfolk Road in Dalston, London, on Christmas Day in 1893. She was the first of 5 children of William Eustace Grayson and his wife Ethel Jessie Grayson, née Lyles. In her childhood years, Edith was a very happy child with above average intelligence and who loved to act and dance. After leaving school, she gained employment with a reputable clothing manufacturing company near Aldgate Station in London. After leaving that job, she gained employment with Carlton and Pryor, a wholesale milliners in the Barbican and later in Aldersgate. Edith excelled herself in this company and gained several promotions until she became their chief buyer, which involved making several trips to Paris on behalf of the company. In 1909, at the age of 15, Edith met Percy Thompson, who was older than her by 3 years. They became a couple, and after a 6-year engagement they married at St Barnaby's in Manor Park on the 15th of January 1916. Initially, the couple lived in Retreat Road in Westcliff-on-Sea. That is literally 10 minutes from where I live now. The couple then bought a house at 41 Kensington Gardens in the London suburb of Ilford. With both of them doing well in their respective careers, Edith being a chief buyer and Percy being a shipping clerk, they lived a happy and comfortable existence. However, Edith was also having an affair with 20-year-old Frederick Bywaters, who was a ship's steward. They had initially met several years earlier when Frederick had been 9 years old. He had been friends with Edith's younger brothers. Their relationship had started in June of 1921, when he accompanied the Thompsons on a holiday to the Isle of Wight. He had moved into their home as a lodger while waiting for his next job on board ship. Percy eventually evicted Frederick, however, for getting a bit over-friendly with Edith. Frederick witnessed a violent row between Percy and Edith and later comforted her. His next ship was to sail on the 9th of September 1921. and so he saw Edith secretly from time to time until ultimately booking into a hotel with her under false names. Frederick was a decisive, impulsive young man who, at least according to him, decided on his own to stab Percy Thompson, whom he felt was making Edith's life miserable. On the 4th of October 1922, Bywaters lay in wait until just after midnight for Edith and Percy, who were returning home from the Criterion Theatre in Piccadilly Circus. As they walked along Belgrave Road between De Vere and Ensley Gardens, Frederick jumped out from behind some bushes near their home and attacked Percy. After a violent struggle, during which Edith was knocked to the ground, Percy was stabbed. Fatally wounded, he died before Edith could summon assistance. Bywaters fled the scene, but neighbours later reported hearing a woman, assumed to be Edith, scream and shout, oh don't," several times. When the police arrived at the scene, they questioned an hysterical Edith who stated that a strange man had stabbed Percy. Police also later questioned Fanny Lester, who also lodged with the Thompsons. She advised the police about Bywaters also having lodged with them, and they also learned that he worked for the shipping line P&O. Inspector Scholes of the Port of London Police went to Tilbury Docks and found that Frederick was aboard the SS Maria. While looking round his cabin, a large number of love letters were recovered which were written to Frederick by Edith. Bywaters was arrested and charged with the murder of Percy Thompson. Edith was also arrested soon afterwards and charged with murder, or to be more accurate, to being an accessory to murder. She did not know that Bywaters had been arrested, but later saw him at the police station. She later said, "Oh God, why did he do it?" continuing, "I didn't want him to do it." Bywaters insisted that he had acted alone in the crime and gave his account. "I waited for Mrs. Thompson and her husband. I pushed her to one side, also pushing him into the street. We struggled. I took my knife from my pocket and we fought, and he got the worst of it. The reason I fought with Thompson was because he never acted like a man to his wife. He always seemed several degrees lower than a fake. I loved her and I could not go on seeing her leading that life. I did not intend to kill him, I only meant to injure him. I gave him the opportunity of standing up to me like a man, but he wouldn't." Bywaters stuck to this story during the trial, which opened at the Old Bailey on the 6th of December 1922. Edith had written no less than 62 intimate letters to Bywaters, and stupidly he had kept them all. Some of them described how she had tried to murder Percy on several occasions. In one, referring apparently an attempt to poison him, she wrote, "You said it was enough for an elephant. Perhaps it was, but you don't allow for the taste, making it possible for only a small quantity to be taken." She had also tried broken glass and told Bywaters that she had made 3 attempts, but that Percy had discovered some in his food, so she had to stop. Edith had been advised against going into the witness box by her lawyer, but decided to do so and promptly incriminated herself. When asked what she had meant when she had written to Bywaters asking him to send her something to give her husband, she said she had no idea, hardly convincing. The judge, in his summing up, described Edith's letters as full of the outpourings of a silly, but at the same time, a wicked affection. The summing up was fair in law, but the judge made his feelings known about the adultery. Mr. Justice Shearman was obviously a very Victorian gentleman with high moral principles. He also instructed the jury, however, "You will not convict her unless you are satisfied that she and he agreed that this man should be murdered when he could be, and she knew that he was going to do it, and directed him to do it, and by arrangement between them he was doing it." 2 hours later, Frederick Bywaters and Edith Thompson were both found guilty of murder. The judge had no choice but to impose the death penalty on both of them, which was required by law. Edith was taken to Holloway Prison and Frederick to Pentonville Prison, where they would remain until the sentences were carried out. They both lodged appeals, but on the 21st of December 1922 they were both dismissed. At 9 a.m. on the 9th of January 1923, both were executed at their respective prisons. Bywaters met his end bravely at the hands of William Willis, still protesting Edith's innocence. Edith's execution, however, didn't go so smoothly. Some say she fainted out of fear, and others claim that she was sedated, and then had to be carried to the execution shed, Whichever is this case, the sentence was carried out by John Ellis. The body of Edith Thompson was initially buried in an unmarked grave in the grounds of Holloway Prison, as was customary. In 1971, the prison underwent an extensive program of rebuilding, during which the bodies of all of the executed women were exhumed and reburied in a single grave at Brookwood Cemetery in Surrey. On the 22nd of November 2018, Edith Thompson's remains were exhumed from Brookwood Cemetery and 2 days later formally buried alongside her parents in accordance with her mother's wishes in the City of London Cemetery, which is where we are today.
Well, that was all the information I could really dig up about Edith Thompson. Now, at the beginning of the video, I said I'd give you my opinion on whether she should have been tried and convicted on this crime, because I had a few comments from people saying that she was innocent. Now, my opinion, as I said, for what it is worth, is that no, I do not think she should have been tried and convicted of this crime. Firstly, because Bywaters was so adamant that she was innocent, and the fact that she was shouting out, "Oh no, please don't, please don't." I don't know, it just doesn't ring true. There wasn't enough evidence for me to convict her of being an accessory to murder. But, and I must emphasise there is a big but in my opinion here, I think she should have been found guilty of at least 3 counts of attempted murder. Now, in those days, that would have carried the same penalty. So she would have gone to the gallows anyway. I mean, she wrote it down herself in her letters, and he stupidly kept those letters, which basically convicted her. So yes, I do think she should have been found guilty. I don't think she should have gone to the gallows. I think maybe life imprisonment would have been a more suitable punishment. And also, no, I do not think she should have been convicted of being an accessory to murder. Anyway, her final resting place is just in front of me now, so I shall spin you around, and as per usual, we'll go and have a look at it together. Right, I did try to find Percy Thompson's grave. I've been over it for literally hours trying to find it. No joy. I mean, if you look at these graves everywhere around me, and this is just a very small section, I'm supposed to find it in amongst thousands, literally thousands of these. So I've already been over it for over 2 hours now, and I thought, I don't really need to find his grave. It would have been nice, but I don't actually need to find it. The one I need to find is this, literally this white one, right in front of us here. Now, she was exhumed from Brookwood and moved here. This is now the final resting place of Edith Thompson. It's actually in memory of Ethel Jessie Craden, who passed away the 7th of January 1938, aged 65 years, and of William Eustace Craden, 1867-1941. If you look down here, Edith Jessie Thompson, 25th of December, sorry about that's my phone, 25th of December 1893 to the 9th of January 1923, reunited with her mother and father since 22nd of November 2018. That is the final resting place of Edith Thompson. Well, I've been walking through here with that grave number and that square number, trying to find the grave of Percy Thompson, and when I finally find Edith's grave, it's the grave number and the square number of that. So I've been looking around for no reason at all. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. You may not agree with my opinions on it, but I hope you enjoyed it anyway, and if you did, please maybe consider subscribing, and if you do subscribe, don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you will be notified each and every time I upload a new video. Anyway, time to go home. This is me, Darren, from the City of London Cemetery. I'll see you all on the next one, I hope. Bye bye for now.